Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't walk onto the set of The View. He erupted onto it like a human fireball straight out of an action movie. There was no cozy intro, no carefully crafted sound bites, and definitely no scripted smiles. He came in calm, focused, and armed with decades of wisdom, grit, and hard-earned American perspective. From the second he opened his mouth, it was clear this wasn't going to be just another celebrity guest nodding along to daytime TV fluff. Arnold came not to echo the room, but to break it open, and that's exactly what he did. He started soft, grateful, reflective, and that's what made it hit. Harder. I came to America at 21 with nothing, he said, and everything I have, my career, my family, my entire life was built because of this country. There was a pause, the kind of pause that makes producers shift nervously and hosts glance at the cue cards. Then he added, America gave me everything, so I have to give something back. A simple sentence, but a loaded one, because the moment he said it, the tone changed. The air thickened. You could see Sonny Hostin lean in. You could almost hear Whoopi's inner monologue saying, wait, where's this going? And then it hit. Arnold leaned forward slightly and said the one thing you're not supposed to say on daytime television anymore. When you come to America, you come as a guest, and you must act like one. The room froze. This wasn't politics. This was principle. This wasn't about party lines. It was about personal responsibility. It was about something deeper than left versus right. It was about right versus wrong. Arnold went on. Measured, deadly accurate. There is a legal way to come to this country, he said. And if you're coming here, you better respect that law. This is not your house. You're a guest, and you don't trash someone else's house. Sonny tried to jump in classic maneuver. A talking point here, a stat there, a quick pivot to play defense. But Arnold wasn't rattled. He just kept going because this wasn't a rant. This was surgical truth. He wasn't blaming all immigrants. He wasn't preaching xenophobia. He was an immigrant, the most successful one America has arguably ever seen. He wasn't speaking from opinion. He was speaking from experience. And that made it all the more unshakable. He said, if I get to live the American dream, then I have an obligation to uphold the system that made it possible. That line alone could have closed the show. But Arnold wasn't done. He dropped another bomb. Illegal immigration isn't just a political issue. It's a respect issue. Respect for the law, respect for the country, and respect for the people trying to do it the right way. The panel squirmed. They tried the usual pivots. Sonny pulled out the American-born citizens commit more crimes than immigrants card, hoping to shift the narrative, maybe deflect the heat. But Arnold wasn't playing their game. This isn't about who commits more crimes. This is about respecting the law at all. You break it, you disrespect it. And that's not the way to say thank you to the country that took you in. The crowd silent thought. It wasn't because they disagreed. It was because Arnold had just said what so many are thinking but are too scared to voice, and then, out of nowhere, he hit them with another punch of truth. Being an immigrant in America is a gift. And if you're lucky enough to receive it, then you have a duty to give back. Boom. End of segment. Not even close. Arnold turned his attention toward California, his old stomping ground, obliterated the current leadership. Without naming names, he called out Gavin Newsom's soft-handed chaos, his refusal to act, his performative leadership. He reminded everyone what leadership used to look like. Cooperation between federal, state, and local authorities. Real solutions, not Twitter threads, not TikTok presses. Actual governance. The panel still reeling, and just when they thought the tension had peaked, they brought up the National Guard. They thought they had him cornered. They thought he'd side with outrage. They thought he'd bash Trump for deploying troops during civil unrest. But Arnold leaned in, squared his jaw, and said with ice-cold precision, in times of chaos, the first job of a leader is to restore order. And if that means the National Guard, then so be it. Whoopi Goldberg flinched. Joy Behar clenched her notes. Sonny Hostin sat stone-faced, blinking rapidly, because that's not what they wanted. That's not what they expected. They wanted celebrity approval. They got reality. Arnold didn't shout. He didn't insult. He didn't use buzzwords or political slogans. He just said it flat. It's not about sides, it's about safety. You protect the people first. That's leadership. And that was it. At that moment, the panel was no longer in charge. The script was gone. The control room probably panicking. But Arnold was calm, powerful, unstoppable. This wasn't The View anymore. It was The Reckoning, and then the aftermath began. Clips went viral. Social media erupted. Conservatives cheered. Independents nodded. Even some liberals admitted quietly, in comment sections, he's not wrong. It wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. Calm, steady, real. Even Ben Shapiro chimed in, backing Arnold's message and slamming Ilhan Omar for constantly bashing America while reaping its rewards. Immigrants should come here with gratitude, not grievance, he said. And he wasn't wrong, because that's what this is all about. Gratitude, discipline, respect, the very things that built this country, the very things The View wanted to avoid talking about. And the very things Arnold forced into the lighten, their turf, under their lights, with their audience. They brought a movie star to play nice. They got a patriot with nothing left to prove. And now they know Arnold doesn't follow scripts. But here's the part no one on that studio set or frankly in corporate media was prepared for. This wasn't just a moment, it became a movement. Arnold Schwarzenegger's takedown wasn't a viral clip, it was a generational wake-up call. And as millions watched it unfold, a powerful question took root in the American conscience. When did we stop rewarding honesty and start punishing it? Arnold didn't just speak for himself. He spoke for the silent majorities, those who followed the rules, who believed in borders, who believed in law, who were told to sit down, shut up, and never question the script. And the way he dismantled the View's narrative calmly, surgically gave permission to millions to start saying what they've been too afraid to say. Because for years, Americans have been gaslit by polished studio hosts pretending that chaos is compassion, that lawlessness is inclusion, and that borders are a form of oppression. Arnold didn't yell. He didn't even raise his tone. He just looked at them, like a disappointed father looking at entitled children, and said, "You don't love something by breaking it." Boom. That's when even the most progressive-leaning viewers watching from home had to pause, because deep down beneath the slogans, beneath the hashtags, they knew he was right. And this wasn't just a celebrity moment, this was a legacy moment. See Arnold Schwarzenegger as a man who knows what legacy means. From bodybuilding icon, to box office king to political powerhouse, he's not chasing fame anymore. He's chasing something more powerful, truth. In his final chapter, this wasn't the Arnold of red carpets and catchphrases. This was the elder statesman, the immigrant who built the American dream from nothing. The governor who ran California with grit. The father who watched his children grow up in a country he still believes in. And when he dropped those truth bombs on The View, it wasn't for headlines, it was for history. He's saying, I may not live forever, but my words will, and trust me, they will. Because in a world of fake courage, Arnold showed real bravery. How many other celebrities dare to walk into enemy territory and say, no, you're wrong? How many Hollywood elites challenge their own industries group teamed? How many former governors remind the public that law and gratitude go hand in hand, don't apologize when Twitter melts down? Arnold didn't flinch, because when you've survived dictatorships, poverty, immigration, rejection, and global stardom, you stop fearing daytime panelists, and that's what made this moment so powerful. He wasn't performing, he was confessing that he owes everything to America, confessing that the system, while flawed, is still the best in the world. Confessing that if we keep rewarding lawbreaking and punishing law-abiding citizens, we are headed for collapse. And here's where things get even more real. After Arnold's appearance aired, internal sources said The View's producers were furious. One even allegedly called it a betrayal that he went rogue. Think about that. They booked a man who made his name by defying odds, and were shocked when he refused to read their script. That's how disconnected media elites have become. They think patriotism is dangerous. They think truth is toxic. Then when Arnold gave them both, they panicked. Some staffers even tried to get the segment pulled from reruns. Too late. The internet had already done what corporate media couldn't control. It preserved the truth. And once that truth was out, people were hungry for more. Podcastas picked it up. Commentators ran with it. Immigrant families started sharing it. Patriots started quoting it. And perhaps most shockingly so did quiet celebrities. The kind who don't speak up often. The kind who play it safe. A few started liking clips, one or two reposted it without comment, but even that silence spoke volumes. Arnold had cracked the dam, and everyone knew more was coming. And let's talk about Gavin Newsom, because when Arnold name-dropped California's current governor, he didn't just criticize policy, he exposed a culture of cowardice. Newsom represents the polished, photo-op-driven Instagram governor era, the one where flashy language replaces action, where slogans replace strategy, where appearances replace leadership. Arnold governed during blackouts, budget crises, fires, and real unrest. He made decisions, not memes, so when he called out Newsom, it wasn't just a political jab. It was a generational rebuke. He basically said, I built the house, you set it on fire. And no one on The View was ready for that level of accountability. They tried to spin, deflect, pivot, but Arnold had already won. Because he didn't play their game. He made them play his. And then came the ripple effect in politics. Ilhan, Omar stepped in with her usual anti-American rhetoric, talking about military parades being fascist and immigrants being oppressed. And who clapped back? Not just Arnold, Ben Shapiro and others followed. They linked arms and truth and reminded the world, gratitude is not oppression. Opportunity is not tyranny, and if America is really so awful, why do millions still risk their lives trying to come here? That's the contradiction no one on The View wants to face. Because to face it would be to admit their entire worldview is built on sand. So what happens next? Well, that depends on the rest of us, because moments like this don't come often. Unfiltered, unsanitized, undeniable. Arnold delivered the kind of truth that most people only dare whisper in private. He reminded us that there's still room for courage in American discourse, but it's on us to carry it forward, to quote him, to share the message, To fight for a country worth believing in, because if we don't, then the studio elites win, the scripted shows win, the narrative managers win. And America loses something far greater than ratings. It loses its soul. So next time someone says immigrants should be victims, show them Arnold. Next time someone says illegal immigration is just compassion, show them Arnold. Next time someone says patriotism is outdated, show them Arnold, because this wasn't just a segment, it was a reckoning. And when the history books are written, this clip might not get its own chapter, but it will have sparked 1,000 conversations that finally pulled truth back into the light. Arnold didn't just flip the table.